Let me tell you something. When people see discipline, real discipline, they don't understand it. They call it crazy. They say, why are you up so early? Why are you training when nobody's watching? Why are you working when everyone else is partying? And that's the moment you know you're on the right path. Because the truth is, nothing great was ever built by being normal. I've been called crazy so many times. When I told people I would be the greatest bodybuilder in the world, they laughed. When I said I would become a Hollywood star with this accent, they said it was impossible. When I ran for governor, they said I was out of my mind. But I knew something they didn't know. Discipline beats talent. Discipline beats luck. Discipline is the foundation of everything. So, how do you become so disciplined people call you crazy? Here are 5 things I learned in my life. Let me tell you something about mornings. Mornings are the secret weapon of the disciplined. When the world is still quiet, when most people are sleeping, that's when champions are made. Most people hit the snooze button and think, 5 more minutes, I deserve to rest. But what they don't realize is that in those 5 minutes, someone else is already awake. Someone else is already working. Someone else is already building the life they want. When I was young, I learned very quickly that if I wanted to stay ahead, I couldn't waste my mornings. Because the morning is the only time you truly own. Once the day starts, everyone wants a piece of you. Your boss, your phone, your friends, your responsibilities. But in the morning, before the world wakes up, that is your time. It is your battlefield. Imagine this. One person wakes up at 5 a.m., goes for a run, takes a cold shower, eats a clean breakfast, and writes down their goals. Another person wakes up at 9 a.m., checks their phone, scrolls through social media, eats something unhealthy, and rushes out of the house stressed. Now tell me, who do you think is going to win that day? It's not luck, it's not talent. It's discipline in the morning that makes the difference. Discipline in the morning is about sending a signal to yourself. When you wake up early and take control, you are telling your mind, I am in charge, not my feelings, not my excuses. You show yourself that you don't need permission to start. You don't wait for the perfect mood. You act, and once you take that action, momentum is on your side for the rest of the day. People ask me, Arnold, how do you stay motivated? I tell them, I don't wait for motivation, I build routines. I wake up, and I don't ask myself if I feel like training, I just train. I don't ask myself if I feel like working, I just work. When you wake up and take control of your morning, you eliminate the debate inside your head. There is no room for excuses when action is automatic. Look at the most successful people in the world. They protect their mornings like it's gold. They know that if they own the first hour, they own the day. Some people meditate. Some people read. Some people write. Some people train. The activity doesn't matter as much as the principle is start strong, start disciplined, and everything else follows. The morning is also where you build confidence. Because every morning you are faced with a choice, do I rise or do I stay comfortable? And when you rise, when you push through the resistance, you win a small battle. Those small battles build into victories. And soon people will look at you and say, you're crazy for waking up so early. You're crazy for working before the sun is up. But what they call crazy, you call progress. So the morning is not just about waking up early. It's about setting the tone for your entire life. When you control your mornings, you control your future. Routine is the backbone of discipline. People think success comes from one big moment, one big opportunity, one big breakthrough, but that's not true. Success comes from what you do every single day, the boring, the repetitive, the things nobody claps for. That's what separates the unstoppable from the average. When I was training for bodybuilding, I didn't just go to the gym when I felt like it. I went every single day, same time, same intensity, no excuses. I could be tired, I could be sore, I could be busy. But the routine never broke. People said, Arnold, you're obsessed, you're crazy. But I wasn't crazy, I was committed. I knew that if I kept stacking those days, if I kept building that routine, the results would be unstoppable. Think about your own life. If you brush your teeth only once in a while, your teeth will rot. If you eat healthy just one day a week, your body won't change. But if you repeat the same healthy habits, if you repeat the same focused actions, then transformation becomes inevitable. Routine is like compound interest. Small actions done every day build into massive results over time. But here's the problem. People wait for motivation. They wait until they feel like working, feel like exercising, feel like studying. That's why they fail. Because feelings are unreliable. If you rely on feelings, you will never be consistent. Routine is about cutting out the negotiation. You don't ask yourself, do I feel like it today? You simply do it because it's part of who you are. Let me give you an example. Imagine two students. One studies only when exams are near, pulling all-nighters, drinking coffee, stressed out. The other one studies a little bit every day, reviews notes, builds knowledge slowly. Who do you think will succeed in the long run? The one with the routine, because their preparation is automatic. They don't need panic, they don't need pressure. Their routine has already done the work. It's the same in fitness, in business, in any dream you're chasing. The ones who succeed are the ones who can show up again and again, no matter how they feel. When people ask how champions are made, the answer is simple. They built a routine so strong that it became their identity. Your brain loves routine. It craves structure. When you wake up and you already know exactly what to do, there's no wasted energy, no wasted decision making. That's why some of the most successful people wear the same clothes every day, eat the same breakfast, or follow strict schedules. It's not because they're boring, it's because they save their energy for what matters most. And here's the most powerful part. When you build a routine and you stick to it, people around you will notice. They will say, why do you always do this? Why don't you relax? Why don't you take it easy? They will call you obsessed, maybe even crazy. But deep down, they will also respect you because they know they can't do it themselves. Your routine becomes your edge, your advantage, the invisible force that keeps pushing you forward while others stand still. Most people think that discipline is only about what you do, but the truth is discipline is just as much about what you refuse to do. The power of no is what separates the focused from the distracted. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't serve your goals, you are saying no to your dreams. And every time you say no to distractions, you are saying yes to your future. Look around in daily life. How many times have you agreed to go out with friends when you knew you had work to finish? How many times have you said yes to watching just one more episode when you should have been sleeping early? These small yeses look harmless, but they are thieves of your time. You're thieves of your energy, thieves of your potential. Discipline means you start protecting yourself from these small thieves. When I was chasing my dream to become the greatest bodybuilder, people invited me to parties, to events, to nights out. They would say, come on, Arnold, it's just one night. You deserve to relax. But I said no, because one night becomes two, two becomes three. And before you know it, your routine is broken, your focus is gone. People thought I was cold, that I was too serious. But I knew something they didn't ever know was a bigger yes to my dream. Saying no is not easy, because people will not understand. They will say you've changed, that you're selfish, that you're no fun anymore. But that's the price of greatness. You cannot please everyone and still build the life you want. You have to decide, do you want their approval or do you want your future? Think about a student who wants to get into the best university. Their friends are always asking them to hang out, to play games, to waste time. If they say yes every time, they'll never reach their goal. But if they say no, if they spend those hours studying, practicing, improving, they will create opportunities their friends can only dream of. That's not selfish, that's discipline. Or imagine someone who wants to start a business. People around them are always offering distractions, weekend trips, nights out, endless gossip. If they say yes, they will drain their energy and their money. But when they say no, when they stay home and work on their dream, when they invest instead of waste, they are building freedom. That's how success is built, not only by what you do, but by what you refuse to do. And here's the truth, every no makes you stronger. Every no trains your willpower. At first it feels uncomfortable, but then it becomes powerful. You realize you don't need to be everywhere. You don't need to do everything. You don't need to please everyone. All you need is to protect your vision like it's sacred. Because it is, your vision is your future. People will say you're crazy for always saying no, but that's only because they can't do it themselves. They don't have the courage to draw the line. But when you say no to distractions, you become untouchable, you become unstoppable, and you create a life that ordinary people can only imagine. Doing the hard things, especially when you don't feel like it, is the real test of discipline. Anybody can show up when they are excited, when the sun is shining, when the energy is high. But the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is what you do when you are tired, when you are bored, when you have every excuse ready in your head. That's the moment that defines you. Think about it. How many times have you said, "I'll start tomorrow, I'll do it later, I don't feel like it right now"? That's the trap most people fall into. They think they need to feel good to take action. But if you only act when you feel like it, you will never achieve anything great. Feelings are temporary, discipline is permanent. When I was training, there were mornings my body screamed at me to stay in bed. I was sore, I was exhausted, I had no energy. But I told myself, Arnold, champions don't wait until they feel perfect. They push through the pain, they do the work anyway. And the funny thing is, once you start, once you push past that first 5 minutes, your mind changes. Action creates energy. Discipline creates motivation, not the other way around. Look at life around you. The student who studies even when they're tired after school, they are the one who gets into the top university. The athlete who trains even when it rains, even when nobody is watching, they are the one who becomes a champion. The worker who stays focused even when others are gossiping or slacking off, they are the one who gets promoted. Success doesn't come from the easy days. It comes from the days you push through when it's hardest. Imagine two runners preparing for a marathon. One runs only when the weather is perfect, when they feel strong, when everything aligns. The other runs even in the cold, in the rain, in the dark, on the days they don't feel like it. Who do you think will be ready on race day? It's obvious. The one who embraced the hard conditions, because they trained not just their body but their mind. This is why doing the hard thing is so powerful. Every time you do something difficult when you don't feel like it, you are training your willpower. You are proving to yourself that you are stronger than your excuses. And that confidence carries into every area of your life. Suddenly, challenges don't scare you, discomfort doesn't stop you, and fear doesn't control you. People will look at you and say, "You're crazy for pushing yourself like this. You're crazy for working when you're tired, for training when you could be resting." But what they don't see is that every hard moment is a brick in the foundation of greatness. While they avoid the hard things, you are building strength they can't understand. While they wait for the perfect conditions, you are creating your own future by acting in imperfect ones. The truth is, the hard things are not obstacles, they are opportunities. They are the tests life gives you to see if you are serious about your dreams. Anyone can dream, but only the disciplined will prove it by doing the hard things, especially when they don't feel like it. When you decide to live with discipline, when you decide to push yourself beyond the comfort zone of ordinary people, you will be misunderstood. They will not get it. They will look at your choices and think you are strange. They will laugh at your routines. They will shake their heads when you say no to the things they love doing. And this is where most people break, because nobody likes to be misunderstood. Everybody wants to be liked. Everybody wants approval. But if you are serious about your dreams, you have to learn to embrace being misunderstood. Think about it. When you start waking up earlier than everyone else, people will say, "Why are you doing this? You're crazy sleeping like the rest of us." When you say no to the weekend parties because you want to work on your craft, they will say, "Come on, life is short, don't be so boring." When you eat clean while they are eating junk, they will tease you, they will say you're obsessed. But deep down, they are not laughing at you. They are uncomfortable with themselves because your discipline reminds them of their own excuses. I remember when I first came to America, people didn't understand me at all. They thought my dreams were too big. They thought my accent was too heavy. They thought my goals were impossible. They said, "Arnold, you're crazy if you think you can be the best bodybuilder. Crazy if you think you can be a Hollywood star. Crazy if you think you can lead in politics." But every time they misunderstood me, it only gave me more fire. I thought to myself, "Good, keep underestimating me, keep laughing. Because one day the same people who doubted me will be clapping for me." Look at daily life. Imagine a young person who chooses to save money instead of spending it all on clothes or nights out. Their friends will call them cheap, boring, maybe even antisocial. But 10 years later, that same person will own their own house, start their own business, live with freedom while the others are still trapped in debt. At first misunderstood, later respected. Or think about an athlete who trains while everyone else sleeps in. Their neighbors might laugh when they see them running in the cold at 5 a.m. But when that athlete wins medals, when they achieve greatness, suddenly the laughter turns into admiration. You see, the path of discipline is not meant to be understood by everyone, because not everyone has the courage to walk it. Most people choose comfort, so when they see someone choose discomfort, they call it crazy. Most people choose average, so when they see someone choose greatness, they label it strange. But the truth is, being misunderstood is a sign you are doing something right, because if everyone agrees with you, you're probably not pushing hard enough. And here's the real beauty. When you embrace being misunderstood, you become free. Free from needing approval, free from chasing validation, free from the opinions of people who are not living your life. You no longer care if they call you obsessed, strange, or crazy. You wear it like a badge of honor, because you know that every person who was ever extraordinary was once misunderstood. And you know that if they don't understand you today, one day they will understand through your results. Let me tell you something. There comes a moment in every journey when you have to decide who you are going to be. Are you going to be like everyone else, doing what is easy, fitting in, living quietly in the shadow of comfort? Or are you going to step into the fire of discipline and create something extraordinary? Because at the end of the day, life does not reward excuses. Life rewards results. People don't remember the one who almost tried. They remember the one who refused to quit. Discipline is not glamorous. It is waking up when your body begs for sleep. It is saying no to the party when everyone else is going. It is running in the rain when the couch looks warm. It is studying when your eyes are heavy. It is choosing the grind over the distraction again and again. And the truth is, nobody will clap for you in those moments. Nobody will cheer when you turn off the TV and pick up a book. Nobody will notice when you wake up at 5 a.m. Nobody will post about your extra set in the gym. But that's the beauty of discipline. It works silently, it grows invisibly, and then one day, all of the world sees the results and calls you unstoppable. You have to understand, the price of greatness is always paid in advance. You don't get to enjoy the trophy before you sweat. You don't get the victory before you bleed. You don't get respect before you endure being misunderstood. So when people call you crazy, when they laugh, when they say you're obsessed, remember this. That is the sound of the average trying to pull you back to their level. Don't let them. Let them laugh. Let them call you insane. Because one day, they will look at what you have built and say, how did you do it? Every champion was once ridiculed. Every innovator was once doubted. Every trailblazer was once told they were unrealistic. Think of the athletes who trained in the dark, the entrepreneurs who worked while their friends partied, the artists who created when nobody cared. They were told to stop, they were told to be normal, but they chose discipline over approval, and that is why we remember their names. You want to know the truth? Comfort is the enemy of greatness. Nothing grows in comfort. Discipline is uncomfortable, but it is the discomfort that makes you strong. The weights in the gym feel heavy, but they build muscle. The early mornings feel brutal, but they build consistency. The sacrifices feel painful, but they build freedom. Pain is temporary, pride is forever. Struggle is temporary, success is eternal. So the choice is in your hands right now. You can continue living like everybody else, doing what is easy, chasing short-term pleasures, or you can decide to stand out, to rise above, to embrace the discipline that will make people call you crazy. Because here is the secret: the people who are crazy enough to live with unshakable discipline are the ones who change their lives, and sometimes the entire world. Remember this line: what is hard today will one day become your strength. What feels impossible now will one day be your victory. Every noted distraction is a yes to destiny. Every small act of discipline is a brick in the empire of your future. So when the alarm rings, don't think, act. When temptation comes, don't bend, stand. When fear whispers, don't listen, fight. Because greatness does not come to the talented, it comes to the disciplined. The world does not need another person who fits in. The world needs someone who is so committed, so relentless, so disciplined that people cannot ignore them. And if they call you crazy along the way, smile. Because that word has always been the nickname of the extraordinary.